The dream of your soul is essentially the meaning of your life. A lot of people don't know what the meaning of their life is. That's okay. Your job is to make meaning out of your life. Meaning is a moment. You make all these moments of meaning from your life. You string them together, you have all these pearls. The dream of your soul is the meaning and the purpose of your life. The dream of Jesus' soul is to be the Christ. The definition of Christ is God in human form. In other words, God's love in human form. Then he told us that we were just like him. We are love in human form. Please write this in your journal. God and me are love in human form. Okay, so now think of a being or a personal object that's sacred to you. And remember, we did this before. I asked you to bring something from your childhood, like a stuffed animal or a toy or a binky. And when you were here for that service, you can use that same object, or you can think of that same one. Catherine had her Snoopy, my mother had her owl. But it could also be a special tree in your yard, or a plant. It could be your journal or diary, but something that is extremely special to you. It can even be your pet, but generally it's something that doesn't have an ego. So pets sort of count in this regard. But in any case, it's something that you absolutely adore. So if it's an object or a plant, you love it so much, you've given it its own personality and name. And that thing is so easy for you to love, and it loves you back unconditionally. So in other words, it's probably not going to be your grandkids, because your grandkids do not love you unconditionally. And generally, it's not going to be a human being. So for example, I chose a koala bear. So write down in your journal, what is a being or a personal object that is sacred to you? Think of it in your mind and then write it down. Okay, now you're going to extend the statement you just wrote towards your sacred object. So you just wrote, God and me are love in human form. Now you're going to write the same thing about that thing that is very sacred to you. So for example, I write, koala is love in koala bear form. And then I ask koala, are you love in koala form? And he's like, yes, I am. Okay, so Sophia is currently in love with a plant. Here's the pic of said plant. So Sophia would ask her plant, are you in love? Are you love in plant form? And the plant waves its leaf, yes, I am. Dora can write, Bella is love in Chihuahua form. Then she asks Bella, are you love in Chihuahua form? And Bella would probably say, obviously, I mean, what else am I? Okay, so go ahead and write your love statement about the sacred adored being or sacred adored thing in your life. And then you're going to write their name or whatever you call that sacred object and what form they're in. So blank is love in blank form. This object or this being is your living Christ. So write in your journal the name of your beloved being, and then is my living Christ. So blank is my living Christ. So for me, I'd write koala is my living Christ. A living Christ is someone or something that doesn't have an ego and serves as an example to you of what pure love looks like. It's easiest to use something that's with you every day that you can pray with. Some people pray with their Bible, their prayer beads, or their sutras, or a prayer shawl. Buddha prayed beneath a tree. The Bodhi tree was his personal embodiment of divinity. He could touch it, sleep with it, hug it, ask questions to it, and get answers from it. The tree communicated with him just as your living Christ communicates with you. The more you develop your relationship with your living Christ, the deeper your communication with it becomes. Like an example is forensic testing. Detectives can get detailed information about a person from their clothing or something that they used on a daily basis because it has their DNA all over it. And it's similar to how animals can communicate by sniffing the grass or the bushes because other animals leave their scent there. Your living Christ stores all of your spiritual and emotional DNA, and it carries a lot of information about your soul. Your living Christ is your own personal object or pet or plant or even a place like a garden or a waterfall that has a personal relationship with you, and it responds to your soul and communicates with you in a very tangible, touchable, real, and practical way. Go ahead and write this in your journal. My living Christ is something of my very own that I can touch, hug, sleep with, talk with, and care for. It shows me how pure love operates in my life. So when I want to know what would my living Christ do in any given situation, so instead of asking, what would Jesus do? I ask, what would koala do? So a friend of mine was trying to convince me to do something that didn't really feel right. It felt kind of unethical. So I asked, well, what would koala do in this situation? Would he listen very intently to the whole scam and then decide, no, not for me. I'm a koala bear. Koalas don't do yucky stuffs. Koala only do yummy stuffs. So if my friend insists, but you're my friend, you can't do this for me, where's the line between being a friend and betraying who you are? And the only way to know this is to consult Christ, or in this case, koala, who's my living Christ in koala bear form. So if koala can't do it, I probably can't do it. If I do something that's against my Christly nature or my koala bear nature, I usually get a rash or I get sick. And then where's the friend of mine? The reason I almost got sick, probably nowhere to be found, because they need to move on to someone who's not like me, who doesn't get sick when they go against their morals. So that same friend of mine, once they realized I wouldn't help them, started to attack me. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? So after a while, if someone keeps attacking you, I got fed up. I gave them the finger. And my friend was livid, was horrified. So escalated their attack on me. And they're like, you're supposed to be a loyal friend. Instead, you're giving me the finger. And so I said, okay, well, what would koala do? No, koala bear doesn't have fingers, so he can't give them the finger. So he just sort of gives them the paw. And I kid you not, as soon as koala gave my friend the paw, the next day my friend got sick and they stopped attacking me. Now, when I give someone the finger, why doesn't it have the same result as when koala gives them the paw? And the difference is that I'm not using my full power when I give them the finger. I'm using my pain. On a scale of 1 to 100, with 100 being the most powerful, pain is like operating from a level 0. When koala bear gives them the paw, he's doing it from a place of deep self-love. So he's coming at them from a level 100. You can be cute and angry. And no matter how angry koala gets, no one really sees a violent koala bear. They just see koala bear. Self-love gives you a universal license to do extreme rule-breaking behaviors without tarnishing your image, because love gives you the right. And when I say love, I'm talking self-love. When you love yourself, You can wear a leotard in public and be praised for it. Self-love gives you the right to be yourself in all your vicious forms and still be love in human form. Please write this in your journal. Self-love gives me the right to be myself in all my vicious forms and still be love in human form. So please write in your journal, what would my living Christ do? And think of a sticky situation you've been in recently. What would your living Christ do in that situation? And write it in your journal. So your living Christ does not have answers to everything. For example, koala bear doesn't help me get up in the morning. I have to ask angels to help me get up in the morning. If it were up to koala bear, we would just stay in bed all day and hug each other and look out the window. We would never get out of bed. So your living Christ is an example of pure love in your life, but your living Christ, just like God, is not an excuse to not live your life. Your living Christ is a support for you to go and live your life. If you need extra help, you can ask, you can take your living Christ with you, you can ask the angels, but your living Christ is limited for a reason, so that you don't give up your power to God. God purposely limits himself in the form of a being or an animal or an object, limits himself physically to a single aspect of his totality. And in that way, God will never take your power away from you, even if you want to give it away. When you are truly expressing the divine spark within you, you don't give your spark away, not even to God. You become a brighter spark of God. Love grows when you express love, not when you give it away. Giving away your power is not a gift, it's throwing it away. You have to keep the light within you and shine it, not give it away to someone else, even if that someone is God. God wants to shine through you, not take your shine away from you. Your living Christ is limited and doesn't give you the answers to everything to ensure that you never make anyone a more true or more pure expression of your divine self than you.